Hey guys, Koi Layman. It is February, so you know what that means. It means kayak rigging time. I have a brand new Radar 115 from Wilderness Systems with a Helix Pedal Drive. Awesome kayak. Very versatile, power, pedal, or power. It is the most versatile kayak I've ever been in. If anybody knows, seen any of my other content, I've been in a Radar for a long time. A little bit different setup this year. I'm going to have a Torqeedo on the back, and I'm going to go with the aluminum Torqeedo mount. Primary reason is I don't need to pedal and power at the same time as much anymore. My local club is going to allow motors this year, so my primary function is going to be a Torqeedo. But I still want the availability to me to put my pedal drive in and just pedal around for the day. Or if I go do a tournament that doesn't allow motors somewhere, I can put my pedal drive on easily. I'm pretty happy about this setup, and I wanted to show it off to you. I hope this helps somebody out. If you have any questions, comment below. I will answer any questions or help you any way I can. But hey, let's take a look at this setup. All right, starting at the front, and you'll have to apologize in my garage, but it is February, and this is the perfect time for this. So this setup right now with a pedal drive, I have a Torqeedo remote or throttle on there right now, and the battery, because it's going to come into play later on. The box here is from Wilderness Systems. This is the stern motor foot control kit. You're going to need one of these if you're going to put a Torqeedo or any motor on the back of one of your Wilderness System kayaks. So it comes with your foot steering controls and hardware. Everything you need is there. It's on the Wilderness System site. Check it out. Get it from your dealer. Get it on Amazon. It's a great kit. We will get to that in a minute. So right now, I have deviated from the standard way of installing the rudder lift lines. And what I mean, I'll show you. So typically the lift lines come down and trace along the side, and it makes the lifting and deploying of the rudder somewhat difficult because of the angles. So to alleviate this, I've separated the lift line and the deploy line to left and right. This is inspired by, nonetheless, the Recon setup. So what you do to deploy your rudder is pull the deploy line. The deploy line's on this side. Pull this line. It makes operation super smooth. And then I've got an eyelet up here that you just hook a bungee cord to. So that when it's in use, it keeps the rudder down and tight to the kayak. But if you hit any objects, it'll pop up and not break. The rudder tight to the kayak helps with the steering and the overall functionality of the rudder. If it's tight to the bottom, straight up and down, it works much better. So then your steering works exactly the same. Your standard steering handle that you get with the pedal drive kit steers the rudder. So to take it off, you're going to undo the bungee, pull the lift line side, which is on the right side now, and it's super easy. Alright, so that is what you'll be using when you're using your pedal drive and standard rudder setup. You'll notice this plate back here. This is going to come into play in a minute. So what you're going to do I have Actually, let me get the camera a little closer. I apologize shooting this by myself. So when this is deployed, what we're going to do is transition to Torqeedo in a minute. And what I did is I cut the left line and the deploy line, and I joined them together with a fastener. And when you do it, the point of cut should be in this area here. It worked out exactly perfect. Now these lines from here out are going to double as your Torqeedo lift line and your reverse line later on. So this side, when you pull it up, when the line's fully forward, the cut line again is going to be in this area, centered between this tie down and this tie down. This setup for the rudder is super simple. You're going to run it through your existing slide tracks tie downs as a guide. So this setup actually costs no extra money. It uses the exact same hardware that comes with a pedal drive kit. You need nothing else. It just operates more efficiently and smoother. So what we're going to do now, let's transition to the Torqeedo. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to unhook the lift line or the deploy line. Actually, we want to keep those fasteners. So we're going to unhook the deploy line, and we're going to unhook the lift line. I'm going to unhook the steering cables, which is simply the standard steering cable grommets that uses these clips. Put it all back together and leave the grommets in place. Just let them hang off the back of your kayak so they're always there. You know where they are, and you don't have to adjust your steering when you put your rudder back on. Those will be in the same place every time. And then I'm going to take my rudder off. Again, just another snap ring. Now your rudder head is completely unattached. Put your fastener back on. This can now be stored in the front hatch of your kayak. Tether it off. For emergencies, if you have a motor malfunction or your battery dies, you can pull to the bank and have your pedal drive head with you and put your rudder on. Then I have the aluminum Torqeedo mount. Now I have this set up. I made this mounting plate. You can buy a plate from Wilderness Systems and modify it. And then I use gear track. Now I use the double flange gear track because it gives you double the bolt, double the anchor points. And then I have thumb screws with Yak Attack Mighty bolts and lock washers underneath. The thumb screws are from Lowe's. They have a brass insert. They're 1/4 20 thread. They're very inexpensive, and it makes things super simple for you. So you're going to line these all up. Onto the gear tracks. Slide everything into place. All right. And then thumb screw them down. Make sure they're nice and tight, that it squishes the lock nut. Now, as I mentioned before, your lift line now hooks to the existing rudder lift line. This is going to hook to the top of the Torqeedo. And your reverse line latches to the reverse line. I've made small lines out of the Torqeedo rope material they give you. Okay. So you grab your Torqeedo. This is the 403. And put your motor in place. Latch it down. All right, now your lift line hooks up and your reverse line hooks up. Okay. All right, so I've already installed the foot control kit from Wilderness Systems. The rudder tube is already in place to your foot controls. You run the spectral line through the tubes and hook up your steering cables. Now you're ready for foot steering. So the way that this works is the same lift line. I have a carabiner here, a stainless carabiner that came with the Torqeedo motor kit. And instead of using the bungee this time, I'm going to use the carabiner to hook it to my eyelet that holds the motor up. To deploy, take the carabiner off, the motor goes down. Same way with the reverse line. If you're going to reverse, you temporarily hold the reverse line, and once you finish in the reverse, then you're going to let it go back. Now let's go up and check out the rest of the kayak. So I have the battery in place here. As the directions say, you're going to hook up the motor first. And by the way, this area behind the seat of the radar is nearly perfect. Make sure that it's straight and it's locked in correctly. Anchor point, attach a carabiner to this line or up here. Just have a small tether cord. And now I'm going to attach the remote. All right, good to go. Moving forward, I already have the throttle in place. So when you take the included pod off of the radar and put the pedal drive kit, you're left with a 1/4-20 molded insert already in a kayak that doesn't do anything anymore. So I use a ram ball setup, 1-inch ram ball for my throttle. I like this in the middle of the kayak instead of up on the side. It keeps it up safe with me, and if I would roll, it has a lot less likely chance of smacking a rock or a stump. So we're going to power it on. And we have power. So let's talk a little bit about the foot steering. The foot steering, as I mentioned before, is a stern motor foot control from Wilderness Systems. It goes with Wilderness System kayak, so it's going to be useful in the attack, the recon, and the radar line. So what it does, it allows you to steer the motor, or any motor that's put on the back, with your feet. So the foot pegs are changed. You install the metal track and then a foot peg. So this slides back and forth, and the spectral line runs through a rudder tube to the motor. Simple. There's all kinds of adjustments. And the nice thing about the cockpit of the radar is when you put your motor up and you want to use your pedal drive head, these foot pegs slide forward out of the way of the pedals. It works super well, and it's extremely convenient when you're fishing. So check out all these parts. This is going to be a super awesome setup. It's very versatile, and I think it's going to be amazing this year. If you have any questions, like I said, comment below, can help you out. And again, as always, thank you for watching.